Hear ye, His Majesty is here. Good to see you all. Conasata to Tom Anawager of Milamagat, August Tufain. Thank you so much indeed. Mr. Stop Motion says, I'm in the video. I'm in the green Nike Tech. Right. We'll have to have a look at that. I'm trying to remember who was who. There's a lot of people in this video. Holy shit. Now, right, before we get started, there are a few things that I need to just let you know of. Number one, I unsurprisingly have been having significant tech issues. As you can imagine, yesterday was a huge project for me. It's something I've been kind of working for quite a while on, and it's something that it's kind of the direction I want to start taking this channel ultimately. So it's something that I'm very passionate about. I want to do it right. And I ran into some difficulties today. I had to go out and buy some equipment, which isn't really working very well, truth be told. It's just not doing it for me. Good to see you, Teresa Brewer. Hope you're doing really well out there. So anyway, yeah, no, nothing new there. Nothing new there. Good to see you, Heat Shield. Hope you're doing well. And Laney, good to see you too. So yesterday, I took up. Oh yes, I do remember you. Yesterday I took a trip up to Dublin, the nation's capital, to have a chat with, well, who we seem to think is the rightful king of Ireland. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Irish history, we haven't had a king, an Irish king anyway, pretty much since Rory O'Connor. Back in the late 12th century, he abdicated and then he came back for a little while. But basically, the Normans came here and said, look at me, I am the king now. And that was the end of that. That was the end of the Irish kings for a long time. And then the Normans took over at the behest of the English kings and so on and so forth. Now, technically, part of Ireland does still have a king, and that would be Northern Ireland and King Charles III. Now, as an Irishman, as an Irish Republican, and again, for those who don't understand, Irish Republican is very different to an American Republican, just so you know. Not that either is a bad thing or anything, just to let you know, because a lot of people freak out over that. You know how people are when it comes to politics. It's got nothing to do with politics, really. It's a different kettle of fish altogether, as they say. But anyway, Jesus Christ, my hair is in an absolute mess. So anyway, went up to visit His Majesty. Now, this has been in the works for a little while, actually. It's this guy has been all over the news for the past few weeks. Basically, he's fighting in court, claiming to be the sovereign king of Ireland. He even refers to his sovereign dog, and that was the start of a lot of this trouble. So he was trying to get on a dog who apparently is a service dog, and he wasn't allowed on the bus. And he was kicked off the bus, and basically it gets out of control, essentially. And he talks about his sovereign dog. Now, I went up there purely expecting this guy to be an absolutely, as the Scottish would say, doolally basta. But no, he was actually, number one, he was clearly very well educated, very intelligent, very well spoken, and really knew his shit as well, like about the law and about Irish history. As for him being the king, well, I suppose we're going to have to wait and see how this all goes for him in court. Now, the judge pretty much told him straight up that he's not. The vast majority of people that I asked on the streets of Dublin yesterday also said he's not. And one or two said that we could possibly benefit from having a king here in Ireland. I tend to disagree personally, but you know, everybody's got their right to their opinion, and that's what I was there for. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole video, obviously, because you know, it's a work in progress, and you know, I'm slowly but surely getting there. As I say, I've been running into a few difficulties. It's cost me a lot of money to make this fucking video, way more than I thought it was going to be, but it was totally worth it. Even if I don't make a bean out of it, it's still worth it because it was so much fun. He was an absolute gent, and his kingsman was with him. and he was a gent, and it was absolutely fantastic. Now, I did also make him a leather crown, in the style of the kind of crown that would have been worn by the kings of Ireland of old, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I got talking to this guy, and he was a really lovely fella and all the rest of it. But he, Johnny, oh, get fucked. He was a really, really, really lovely fella, and we got talking. And the way he was talking, it kind of led me to believe that maybe he thought he was not just the king of Ireland, also the king of the United Kingdom. Not just that, but also Canada and all the other domains of the United Kingdom, or former domains, I suppose. But essentially the king of the world. The king of the fucking world, man. And when I put that to him, he was like, oh, that sounds quite grandiose and what have you. But yeah, we're gonna get stuck in here in just a minute. Let me just read out a few of these. I told you so. It says, we don't have a king in the Republic of Ireland. Are you talking about King Charles III? He might rule over a few places up north, but I'm not getting into that here. So good luck, man. Exactly. Yeah. So that was kind of a point that I made. And he actually talks about King Charles. And I was doing a bit of digging today into his family lineage and all the rest of it. And it seems like he actually genuinely is related to the royal family in England, like genuinely. So that's that. There's some interesting stuff there. There's a bit more digging to be done. When I say related, it seems like one of his ancestors was a kind of and not to say this impolitely or nasty or anything like that, but a bit of a plaything of Henry VIII's. But genuinely, that does seem to be the case. Tusk says, Pesh, I'm the king of Ireland. Your island, you mean Ireland? Yeah, it's mine. I can just hear JL Warren laughing out there somewhere. Humble Hummingbird says, I caught another live, y'all. Good to see you, Humble. I hope you're doing really well out there. And Paul Rumore Fraser for $5 says, good to see you, sexy Irish cousin. Thank you so much. All my cousins call me sexy. Yeah, that came out wrong. Hello, demons, frauditors, slayers. It's Edinburgh International Festival here, and it's madness. Oh, yeah. Oh, I wish I was there, actually. Sounds like a lot of fun. Zenus has been a member for 6 months. We can finally bring member chats up on the screen at long last. We've been asking and asking. And I just had a word with the king yesterday, and he sorted it all out straight away. So here we are. Zenus being a member for 6 months says, met the king. So you looked in the mirror. Thank you, sir. And yes, I did. I've actually got some special merch coming out for this as well. Hold on. Let me just bring it up. I'll bring up the design on the screen. It's quite hilarious, and I think you guys are gonna absolutely love it. But I might try to get some of these up by the end of the show. Let me see if I can find it here. I will show you. So this is a new design that's going to be going on, some merchandise and stuff like that for you guys if anybody is interested in getting any of that stuff. As you can see, it's anatomically accurate in every way, especially the big pectoral muscles and the ripped six-pack neck. And yes, I do wear that cloak all the fucking time. So anyway, back to yesterday. So we were interviewing him outside of the forecourts, his private something or other of the forecourts, and it got out of hand. Some locals decided to get involved. And yeah, it got out of hand really, really quickly. And it did seem that he was genuine in his beliefs, like 100% genuine. That's the God's honest truth. Paul Rumore Fraser for £2 says, Charles III of sausage hands, hashtag not my king. And I wonder about this guy. This guy we're going to see here in a minute. Is he my king? I don't know yet. He seems to think so. And a few other people seem to think so. Mac Addix says, well, did he knight you? I did ask. And he said that he would have a think about it, I think was the idea there. It just depends, really. His Kingsman is going to be the first one knighted anyway. Mr. Binklesworth for $2 says, this is about 2 kilos of beans. Thank you so much indeed. All the beans aren't necessary at the moment. Paul Rumore Fraser for £2 says, I'm Princess Diana. You're prettier than Princess Diana. I am prettier than this man. Colin Definitely Not Cromwell has been a member for 12 months. It says, this is weird. I must be broken. 12 months. I don't know, man. You're addicted to me, and that's fine. The plot hole has been a member for 29 months. Suck on that, Colin. Says, let's not blow smoke up King Irish's arse. Thank you. Thank you very much. I read that 100% as it was written. And Cheshire Cat's been a member for 9 months. Says, to the big cat. Do I have a whiskey here? I do. Oh, of course I fucking do. To the big cat, lads and asses in the side chat. Sláinte. Some call it whiskey, I call it mouthwash. Anyway, so welcome everybody. And we're going to have a look here now. So I tried to render this down as a tight cut. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I had to go in and buy a load of shit today to try to get it working because nothing was working out. So I ended up getting a card reader that I needed because my own one broke. Drove a fucking hour to buy this thing, and it cuts out just before the videos get onto the computer. It's a pain in the hole, but I'll get there. Anyway, we're gonna have a look at this video now. So this is in the car on the way to Dublin. So this is just on my editing software here. It's a bit rough right now because obviously, you know, there's a lot of editing to be done, but there's some hilarious on the street stuff here. Where's that young man here now that was talking to me in the side chat? This lad, I think that's who was in the side chat there. Is that you? I think so. Right. Let's have a watch and see how we go. Guys, we are on the way to Dublin. I'm about 45 minutes from Dublin there. Now, just a heads up, the sound is shit because I haven't edited it at all yet. So it turns out that His Majesty the King is actually in court today. Now, I got a weird message from him. I don't know if he's appearing in court, like if he's supposed to be in court, but he's fucking going anyway. And apparently he wants to put out his manifesto in court and to order the court how he wants it run and all that stuff. So I'm going to be driving right into the city centre. My plan once I get there, because I'll be there a couple hours before him, is I'm going to walk around the streets of Dublin and have a chat with the locals. Now, if you've ever been to Dublin, you'll know that the people there are quite, how should I put it, capable, and they're not afraid to kind of speak their mind. So I'm sure we'll get some really good reactions from some of these folks out on the street. Going to look at maybe going down to Moore Street, which is a really famous street in Dublin where all the old ladies sell fruit and vegetables and stuff like that. They're always really good fun down there. No, that's the screen. So that was pre-editing shit here, but let's... So I'm in the middle of Dublin. So this is in Dublin, in Dublin's fair city. And Dublin's quite the fucking place, man. City centre here on O'Connell Street. And you can't miss it because there's this big metal thing here called the Spire, aka the Stiffy by the Liffey. And I'm going to ask some of the lovely people of Dublin what they think about their new king.
They're €3 there, Gary. All I've got. Where's Tony today?
Oh, I had to wear a jacket. I was going to see His Majesty the King. One does not simply turn up to see His Majesty in a Harley Davidson t-shirt. I did have a Harley Davidson button up underneath it, as I call it, my dress Harleys.
Can I go on
How are you doing? Can I ask you something? Would you by any chance recognize who this man is?
Yeah, you can.
You do, you know, I'm doing a story on him at the moment. I'm about to go meet him at the forecourts. This guy claims... That's the guy, yeah. So you've heard of him already, yeah. A lot of people down my way didn't hear of him, but what you reckon? What you think? So he claims that he's the rightful king. So she says, if he wants to believe it, just let him. You can believe it? Yeah. He's not doing any harm to anyone anyway, yeah. It's all a bit of fun. I'm going to go meet him now anyway. We actually made him a crown and everything, so we're going to see how he goes with that one. Yeah. We'll see how we get on anyway. Thanks a million. See you now. Take care. So that's Moore Street in Dublin. A very famous street. And the ladies there, they're tough ladies, man. If you ever seen Angela's Ashes, that's Moore Street. All right, so I kind of got the response I thought I'd get from a lot of people there, which is just leave him at it. He's not doing any harm, which I tend to agree with. We're going to ask a few more people now and see what they might think. There's another two lovely ladies up here. Hi, ladies. I was wondering if I could ask you a question. Would you two recognize this man by any chance? I'm doing a story on this lad at the moment. He claims to be the rightful King of Ireland.
I heard it, but I don't know.
Did you hear about it? I'm going to go interview him today. What do you think about a fella thinking he's the king of Ireland? We don't need one anyway, do we? No. Thanks a million. See ya. Do you guys recognize this man?
No.
No. No? Whereabouts are you guys from? Oh, Italy. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. This guy, I'm going to go meet him in a minute at the ports, right? This guy is telling everybody that he is the king of Ireland. Yeah. What do you guys think of that?
I think that the one person with this face is a clown. He's a clown.
Brilliant.
Guys, he's a clown.
He's a clown.
Yes.
Yeah.
King is another thing. King, not
So
the.
we actually,
He's got a crown now.
we actually made him a crown. Do you have the crown there, man? We made the guy a crown because in all his pictures he doesn't have one. So we figured we'd make him a crown. We're going to go see him later. What's his name?
So I couldn't remember his name, right? And that is because this is his name. Hold on, let me get this up for you. It is how can I put it? A fucking dinger, I think, is the terminology that I would deem appropriate here. Let me just find it here now. It's a big long fucking one. So he's known as James Carey. He actually talks about Michael D. Higgins later on. But his full name is as follows. Ree is the first name. So R-I, which is the Irish word for king, right? So Ree James Patrick Lacey Switzer Lindsay Windsor Kenny Carey is his full name. And that's actually his full legal name. He wears his driver's license around his neck to prove as such. So we'll skip on from these bios because I don't want to show you everything. There's some funny stuff in this.
All right, so welcome to Ireland. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you recognize this man by any chance? No? Okay, so this guy's been in the news quite a bit over the past couple of weeks.
Okay.
This man is telling everybody that he's the rightful king of Ireland. But we don't have a king in Ireland. We haven't had one for a long time.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think it's a bit crazy or? He looks kind of normal.
No.
Yeah?
He looks a bit sad.
He does look. Well, he also thinks that he's the king of England and the rest of the world and the whole universe, I think, as well. So he's going to be in court today arguing with the judge that he's the king, so he can't go to jail. So no, I just wanted to see what people on the street thought and all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much. We had some visitors from Italy there. They seem to think he's a bit of a clown. Channel real quick.
Yeah, no bother. Yeah.
Do you want to ask a quick? Come on, look at this handsome fella, and he's afraid to go on the camera. Look at that. Come here, you don't put fake tan on and not go on the camera, man, you know what I mean? Anyway,
His fucking face when I said that about him having fake tan on, and he started Snapchatting me. I saw you.
right? Do you recognize this fella by any chance?
No.
This lad claims that he's the rightful.
This is one tall kid, by the way. Like I'm 6'8". No, I'm 6 foot. No, I'm not. I'm nearly 6 foot. But like, look how tall this fucking guy is.
King of Ireland.
Oh no.
He's down in the forecourts today. We're going to go interview him today. What do you reckon about a fella, especially in Dublin, like, you know, standing outside the GPO 1916, all that stuff, and this fella claims he's the king?
Aegis.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
Not a
That's the most Irish response ever. He's an Egypt.
bother. Take care, lad. Girls, can I ask you a quick question for a YouTube channel, if you don't mind? Real quick, I promise. Be really, really fast. Do you recognize this man by any chance?
No.
Are you guys from Dublin or?
Yeah.
So this guy, he's from County Meath. He's been in the news all week. He thinks that he is the rightful king of Ireland. So I'm going to go meet him at the forecourts in about an hour to see what he was. But I thought I'd come out here and ask you first. What do you reckon about a guy that thinks he's the king of Ireland? We don't have one. We haven't had one for a long time. But he doesn't really look like a king, does he?
No.
So I made him a crown anyway. I'm going to give him a crown. I'm going to ask him for a knighthood. So we'll see how we go. But do you reckon he'll win in court that he's the king?
No.
Not a hope?
No.
Would you accept him as your king?
No.
No? Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much, guys. Excuse me, guys. Can I ask you a quick question for a YouTube channel? Would you mind? Go on. Nobody said no yet. Come on. I'll walk and talk. Do you recognize this guy by any chance?
No.
This guy thinks he's the rightful king of Ireland. And he's in court today arguing that he's the king of Ireland. Do you reckon you'd respect him as your king if he wins?
I mean, I'm not Irish.
Oh, where are you guys from?
I'm English.
All right. Oh, even better. So you guys have a new king. We have a new king.
I'm Irish.
He also claims to be the rightful king of the United Kingdom. What do you reckon?
Oh, I've never seen it.
Do you think he'd win in a fight against Charles? I doubt it.
I've never even seen him.
Oh, well, there you go. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Excuse me. Could I ask you guys a quick question for YouTube? If you don't mind, really quickly. Come on. It's brilliant. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't. I don't want to intro.
There was an old lady eating an ice cream. When I go ask her, she's like, no.
There's a question from my YouTube channel. Would you mind just take 2 seconds? Let me show you a picture of this guy, right?
All right.
This young lady here is afraid to go on camera, I think.
Yeah.
Imagine doing your hair up like that and not wanting to go on camera. Do you by any chance recognize this man?
No, I don't.
This guy, he's in the forecourts today. He's been on the news all week. He claims that he's the rightful king of Ireland.
Oh, no.
What do you reckon?
Could be.
Do you think we need one?
Probably, to be honest.
You reckon?
We need another hiking of Ireland.
Somebody to
Just enforce it all.
enforce law, put things straight once and for all.
definitely.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. Well, we wish him the best of luck anyway. I'll make sure this thing's recorded.
Hello.
How are you?
Hold on.
Will I meet you outside here?
Do you want to come in?
Wait a minute. Yeah, these guys were brilliant. Where's that young lad I was chatting to? He was brilliant. Hold a while now. Where are you at?
And some of it will be on Instagram.
I skipped a whole load of stuff, man. There he is. There he is. These were two you lovely young Dublish men.
Hey, boys, can I ask you a quick question for you two? Do you by any chance recognize this fella?
No.
He's been in the news over the past couple of weeks. He claims that he's the rightful king of Ireland.
King of Ireland.
Do you reckon he looks like a king?
He's not King of Ireland. No.
Do you think there should be a king of Ireland?
No, I
No?
don't think that should be.
It's
It's
like-
so much like the English matriarch.
There you go. And like, we're right around the corner from the GPO, all that stuff. And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
this lad's going to be, we're going down to the forecourts here in about a half an hour. He's going to be fighting that he is the king.
Is he
He
actually
claims he owns Bus Éireann. He claims that he owns...
certain, does he?
No, he just tried to get on a bus one day and they booted him off.
He's a sham, is he?
He's a sham, mate. He's a sham. Lads, thanks a million.
What's that YouTube
YouTube's
Hold on now. Let's skip on there because it's just me talking absolute shit.
really interesting. We drove all the way up here today. Do you by any chance recognize this man?
No, we don't.
So this guy claims to be the rightful king of Ireland. The
Canadians in the house. They were two lovely folks from Canada. And the people are from down my neck of the woods. There's a lot of upshots of my beard looking fucking a little bit salt and peppery. There was another really nice couple I met there towards the end.
He might have a propensity towards kings, so I'm not really sure.
Oh yeah, he did have a bit of a British accent.
We got one pro king and we got one kind of semi-pro king. So that's it. Although I will say,
Is it
I mean-
around here where I got it? Yeah, it is. These folks were so.
I'll make sure this thing's recording. It is.
I gotta be on it. You gotta tag me on it as well.
I will, absolutely. Right, what's your name? Sorry.
Sure.
Sean, is it? Sean, same as me. And Juliet, is it? Yeah. Lovely to meet you guys. So I'm up here in Dublin today. Came up from the real capital, Cork.
Oh,
I wanted to show you guys a picture and see if you recognize this guy by any chance. Does he look familiar at all? No? So this guy's been in the news for the past couple of weeks. He claims to be the rightful king of Ireland. What do you reckon?
he's tripping.
He's tripping.
He's tripping.
Tripping major balls. So we're actually going to go meet him in about a half an hour. He's at court today.
He's in court.
Well, he's claiming that he's the king of Ireland because he wants to fight a bus ticket or a parking ticket or something. And he claims that he has the right to go wherever he wants. Do you think we need a king? No? Like we're right outside the GPO where there was one of the last stands in the Irish Rebellion. I think those people would think we definitely don't need a king.
We don't need no power.
So what would you say as a message to that guy telling everybody he's the king?
Time to lay off the drugs, you know?
Lay off the drugs.
That's dangerous. Them drugs.
Well, either he's on drugs or not on enough drugs. It's one or the other anyway.
Just stick to
Stick to the weed. Can't remember where else I went. Okay, so this was my speed it up. How can you speed up real time? What are you talking about? This was my introduction to His Majesty the King. But before we get there, let me just grab a few of these. Mario's been a member for 17 months. Says, does it mean that you're not the most important Irishman? No, never, ever. Frank Perry for $5 says, did he surrender to the demon army or do I have to get the water balloons ready? Maybe we can get the F-22 to help out. Dropping Dropping water balloons from an F-22 going twice the speed of sound, I think that would still do some fucking damage, but I'm down. I'm down if you are. Paul Morrison for £5 says, that can't be the King of Ireland. I'm prettier than this man. Stephen from Braveheart. What a character. Stephen is my name, and I'm the most wanted man on my island, but I'm not on my island. More's the pity. One of my favorite scenes in a movie ever. Shan says everyone must be cold there. Everyone's in long sleeves. Can't imagine long sleeves in August. It was actually really humid. It was really, really, really humid there yesterday. I got such a bad migraine right before I came to meet His Majesty. Like my eyes were starting to go blurry. Like I couldn't see a fucking thing. And thankfully, it kind of dissipated just before the interview. But then the headache set in halfway through. I wasn't knighted. Not yet. He's going to have to think about it. Although I did give him a feckin' crown. Like, so I think I deserve it. But this was my introduction to His Majesty, the King.
Hello,
How are you? Will I meet you outside here?
Do you want to come in?
I just asked the lads there. They said we're not allowed to have any recording equipment or anything inside.
Well, I'm the King of Ireland, and I'm the legal owner of the building, and I give you authority.
That is the King of Ireland.
Well, Ireland is a republic. They don't have a royalty here.
Now, do you see what I'm dealing with all the time?
Yeah. Well, I suppose
Lift the barrier for me.
for His Majesty. Now, this guy is dead set serious. Like, this is no joke. Like, he does this every day. Like, this guy is the King of Ireland.
Your republic was illegally built in my kingdom,
What is your kingdom?
the Irish Land Commission.
I see.
So there we go.
I learned.
Excellent.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Very
Pleasure
nice
to meet you, Your Majesty.
This is
Pleasure.
this is a King's man, Jimmy here.
Hello. Jimmy, pleasure to meet you, sir. Pleasure to meet you.
You're very good to come all the way up from
Oh,
Cork.
my absolute pleasure. I saw. So that was the introduction. Now the interview starts. Right? Now, obviously, I'm not going to play the whole interview. It was actually over an hour long. It will be cut down quite a bit.
We're doing a lot of
bits that I want to show you guys.
work on behalf of my subjects in Cork.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
we're,
What kind of?
Well, one thing we've done is you have an unwelcome guest off the coast of my privately owned Irish Land Commission, port of Kinsale.
Yes,
You've
the
three,
warships.
You have 3 billion communists.
We lost the stream there for a minute. I'm not sure what happened there. Yep, we're back. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there.
Well, that's my information, and I have to go based on what I'm told.
Of course,
you know
of
what I mean?
course, yeah.
You got to kind of prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Of course,
if you get what I mean.
absolutely.
So
we were setting up the interview
from Dublin, or my privately owned Irish Land Commission city of Dublin, to my privately owned Irish Land Commission city of London, around about the 40s, 50s and 60s, in the wake of a Holocaust that took place here.
Mm-hmm.
So Windsor is a name that comes underneath the Irish monarchate.
Yes.
We reign over the Irish monarchate still under anti-terrorism laws.
Okay. And so, as we all know, Her Majesty the Queen of England passed away recently, and her son, of course, now being King Charles of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. What's his position, considering your position?
Well, the position is very clear, again, under anti-terrorism laws. Mm-hmm. Terrorism doesn't count. Mm-hmm. And you're and much as I was
set up on a tripod, Susan.
I missed the connection with them because of the difficulties between.
Now, again, the sound hasn't been cleaned up on this yet. Recently, and her son, of course, now being King Charles of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. What's his position, considering your position?
Well, the position is, and the only real legal way that my family member Charles can reign is as per my license or as per my sovereignty. Right. And do you bestow that on him at this point, or is it something that you are looking at, or what's the position on that? Well, I'm opening up talks.
I don't know what's going on with my internet. There's actually a really bad storm here at the moment, so my internet's a bit fucky.
Very, very positive.
Okay, fantastic.
Because we're at a point in world history where
I'm sorry about the freezing, guys. That's the as I said there, there's a really bad storm here at the moment.
the Chinese
Fucking disaster.
Communist Party, who I might add grew out of the collapse of my Irish Land Commission. We rule China through my privately owned Irish Land Commission islands of Taiwan.
Okay.
There's pictures of my father, the late Pat Lindsay, instructing Chiang Kai-shek, who was president and owner of Taiwan and China. So with the United Nations and NATO's support, we're now re-establishing the original Irish Land Commission structure.
Accepted by the general public, and with all of these things taking place, what would your rule look like at this point? Would it be an absolutist monarchy where you'd have complete control, or would there still be a Dáil Éireann, or what?
Just so you guys know, Dáil Éireann is the Irish government, essentially.
What would the situation be there?
We're in the process of discussing all of that at the moment at a very sort of tentative basis. So the United Nations position is we are to receive back what was stolen from us in exactly
To the reign, or?
I see Vladimir Putin, if we can get our sovereignty in Dublin re-globalized rapidly, I can see Vladimir Putin returning with the Irish Land Commission.
Right.
With our governance.
Yes.
If we can do our job swiftly, rise to tourism context, yes. My privately owned Irish Land Commission continent of Europe.
So
he
owns Europe.
Has been 2 warships have come to my privately owned Irish Land Commission ports of Kinsale.
Now, notice this, right? Every time he says my privately owned Irish Land Commission, whatever, he adjusts his jacket. It's just something I noticed while I was doing the interview.
As we discussed prior to the cameras being turned on, and they didn't come from my privately owned Irish Land Commission continent of Europe. They came from my privately owned Irish Land Commission islands of New Zealand.
Yes.
Under Mary Carey, or Banrion Miranachiran, Brehon Queen Mary Carey's sovereign authority.
Yes.
So there's a very current and present day example of the Irish Land Commission still being entirely valid.
Yes.
And very important in a legal and in a military and in a policing and in an economic context.
Yes. And I suppose to switch back to more kind of, I suppose what a lot of viewers would be interested in as well. So obviously we saw the very regal crowning of King Charles recently. So in your circumstances, do you see a situation where that would be the case for you? Something similar, or is there something?
I was born reigning.
Yes.
Any coronation would just be for the purposes of officiation.
Yes.
All the people before me, Banrion Miranachiran, Brehon Queen Mary Carey, Pat Lindsay, we were all born reigning Brehon rulers of our privately owned Irish Land Commission island of Ireland.
Yes.
The United Kingdom, in its current context, was set up not by my government in London, but by my government in Dublin.
Yes.
To hide a red herring, or to conceal the fact that world authority was stolen from under our feet.
Yes.
And it was the impression was given that we left the newly named United Kingdom. But the reality is, my privately owned Irish Land Commission island of Britain took our independence from here.
Right. And so on that point, so I suppose in very simple terms, how you've been referred to in,
so this is where it gets a little bit interesting.
In news articles is as the King of Ireland. Is it more accurate to say that you're the King of Great Britain and Ireland, or is it more global than that? Or
so my privately owned Irish Land Commission island of Ireland and government legally reigns entirely over my entire Irish Land Commission island of Great Britain, and by extension from here, large of a statement as it might be in a present-day context, my privately owned Irish Land Commission in the island of Ireland would legally reign over and legally rule and legally own the globe.
The whole. So essentially, in very simple terms, that would make you the king of the world, essentially.
Well,
in
very
simple.
Like that sounds quite grandiose in a sort of a present-day context. When you have pretty much the current political map of the entire planet, which was formed as a direct response to the collapse of the Irish Land Commission.
Yes.
That sounds like a very large thing to say, because we've 70 years of governments around the world covering up what happened here.
Yeah.
So there you have it. So he's not just the King of Ireland. He is indeed the King of the world. Oh, Jesus Christ. Leonardo the Cappuccino, eat your heart out, boy. Let me grab a few of these here. Interest may vary. Has been a member for 5 months. Says, give the good gentleman a pint. I really wanted to go for a pint when I was in Dublin, but I literally ran out of time. Mr. Binglesworth for $5 says, this guy is either on too many drugs, not enough drugs, or the wrong kind of drugs. He actually gets into his prior drug use later on in the video, as it happens. A very interesting conversation between him and two upstanding young gents who approached us while we were filming. I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'm not going to play it all, though, because it gets quite heated, actually, with the second guy. So we'll see how it goes. Sheen says, I'm convinced he's a very dedicated comedian or actor. I did think that same thing, to be honest, but this man lives this, like, day in, day out, all over his Facebook. Like, it's like he legitimately, he lives this. He goes to the courts pretty much every single day, sits there all day. It's quite something. It is quite something. Greg says, I'm convinced he's my king now. All hail King. I will get that up in about 5 minutes, Frank. Absolutely, my friend. Here we go.
When you say it like that, it sounds almost sort of grandiose,
of course,
and very large. But if we wind back the clock a little bit, back to the 40s and 50s, where people used to come here from around the Land Commission Riachts, or the Irish Land Commission Riachts, and they built Dublin Airport where it is at the moment to get my grandmother's subjects here, where they could be equidistant between here and my privately owned Irish Land Commission village of Stamullen and Gormanstown. They built Dublin Airport to facilitate that world structure.
Yes.
And that when that was collapsed, that's where you basically have the current political map of the world. But I would agree with anti-terrorist lawyers around my privately owned Irish Land Commission globe, who say that under anti-terrorism laws, terrorism doesn't count, violence doesn't count, fraud doesn't count, murder doesn't count, threat to life doesn't count. I don't know if I mentioned robbery, but if I did, I did around the table here, because you've basic things like, I'm going to reign one way or the other, unless we get honest about all of that.
Yeah. And in just centering in Ireland alone, what you see is the biggest, I wouldn't go so strong as to say enemy, but the biggest barrier to your reign as king?
Well, I'm going to reign one way or the other. I was born reigning by Brehon decree and by the Irish monarchacht who came before me. The Brehon monarchy is and was the top reigning monarchy in the known universe.
Yes.
So the largest barrier is the capacity to get people reorganized and resumed under Brehon rule and the Irish Land Commission rule. It's getting the millions of documents which instruct us Gaeilge in hundreds of types of Irish. It's getting them translated back into the world languages. The privately owned Irish Land Commission, Port of Cork and Kinsale, that we couldn't win.
Yes.
We cannot win that
We don't
war.
have the capacity. I used to live in Cove in Cork and power around the world as a whole.
Well, I come from Brehon rule that dates back hundreds of years, and it's possibly some of the most experienced and seasoned and sage rule that you will ever witness in world politics. And my position is very clear. It's possible to avert military action as we push forward economic action.
Yes.
So as we put all of the Irish Land Commission REOC
to gaining that direct control.
So I don't really like using the word control because it all sounds very sort of non-free word.
Of course, yeah.
I like my subjects will have more freedom, more authority, more power, more wealth, more democratic action. My Irish Land Commission globe is at a crossroads, and it has a decision to make. Do we want to go forward with the non-free world militating towards the sort of control that you were talking about, where you have the arbitrary holocausting of people in China, or as I have to call it, my privately owned Irish Land Commission REOC of China? Or do we want to go forward with my privately owned Irish Land Commission City of Dublin?
Can I just ask you, John, real quick before you do go, what exactly do you want to see? Because every time there seems to be a problem. It's literally in the title.
Who respects democracy, freedom, the rule of law, freedom of speech, rights of my subjects, and the general sort of liberties that we take for granted here. That's the sort of REOC I want to rule, and that's the sort of planet I intend to rule, or resume ruling.
Yes. Do you feel like at this moment in time you are ruling it and that there's barriers, or is it a regaining?
Well, it's a resumption.
Yes.
If that top was stolen off you, it would never be the criminal's top.
Exactly.
It would always be your top. So my entire REOC, or kingdom, was stolen from me through a sustained act of global terrorism. So it'll never be the terrorist kingdom.
Yes.
And my subjects would never acknowledge or confirm the terrorists as being their king.
Yes.
They would always say, well, Ban Rion Mira Chiron, or Brehon Queen Mary Carey. Pretty much at my grandmother's make a decision.
Yes.
Do they want to is going to give a very short lifespan to my planet.
So we had a few questions from people come in that were kind of interested in a few points, because I suppose for most people the idea of there being a king of Ireland, or, and again to use the kind of more colloquial term, king of the world, is very new to a lot of people. But one of the most common questions I had was, is there a queen, or are you the most eligible bachelor on earth? Or is there maybe a potential queen, or
king?
Or king, we actually thought, maybe, you never know. But that was the other question that was to follow, in the event that there was, let's say, if you had a male partner, what would he be a king as well? Would he be a co-monarch, or?
Tater Todd for $2 says, how are you keeping a straight face doing this? With great difficulty. Great difficulty. You will see later, I nearly crack when he puts the fucking crown on. I nearly crack. And he saw me nearly crack, and he nearly cracked. Yes, I did get a look at the pins on his lapel. So the bottom one right here, that's the Irish lily, which is in memory of those who died during the 1916 Rising. The other one is an Orange Order one. I think it's an Orange Order one. It had something about dairy on it or whatever, but yeah, interesting enough.
Would it be similar to Queen Elizabeth or Queen Camilla at the moment, as more of a secondary figure?
Well, the position is, you have just described all of the barriers between my privately owned Irish Land Commission Island of Ireland climbing her way through my sovereignty back to the top of world authority in a very welcomed way. It's a very high stress job,
Of course.
and it's a very misunderstood job,
Mm-hmm.
where a lot is expected of me being the king,
Of course.
and I would be under a persistent amount of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Being in a meaningful relationship with a second person, be it male or female, be it a heterosexual marriage or a homosexual marriage, takes time,
Yes.
effort. It's like watering a plant.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to put the time into it. At the moment, we are at a crossroads in world history, and my subjects expect me to be available immediately,
Yes.
to be able to respond instantly, and to be their king first.
First and foremost.
Because this is an island under threat of what I like to say. I have
Yes.
for movies, for getting to know each other,
Mm-hmm.
Netflix
and chill,
for arguments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without it weakening the react.
Of course, yeah.
If you can, I listen.
When I said Netflix and chill, I am convinced, right? I want you to have a look at his face here. Do you think he nearly cracked a laugh when I said Netflix and chill?
Getting to know each other.
He means sexy times.
Netflix and chill.
For arguments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without
He looks like he nearly cracked there. I don't know, man.
without it weakening the react.
Of course, yeah.
If you can, I listen.
No, I hear you. I do. I understand. I suppose the worry there would be the the continuance of the monarchy when your time comes to pass away, and that's the I guess that would be part of the worry, I suppose. But
well, I am in the process of being quite open that my react needs an heir.
Yes.
But it would be on the part of my subjects and my media to facilitate that taking place in a very sort of, a very sort of delicate manner.
Of course, yeah.
Because no person or none of my subjects would be content staying in a situation where both I and them are under constant observation.
What was that actually? I wasn't 100% sure.
No, this is the part about where he got thrown off the bus.
What was that actually? I wasn't 100% sure.
So the position is, it was at a time where I was I was trying to pay this state with a degree of respect by working under both legislation and law.
Yes.
So my instruction was that I am a survivor of the worst forms of political atrocity possibly in the world. That they came through the forms of physical attack, psychological attack, through the forms of pedophilia, through the forms of guns, and general militia, So I provided evidence of my disability, which I am, under your legislation, I'm only expected to provide once.
Yes.
Which I showed evidence of that. My sovereign dog, in my state, or in your state, my disabled assistance dog, gave me the support I needed to walk down my privately owned Irish Land Commission street, where you have a number of war criminals who your state still hasn't prosecuted and brought to public attention. So I walked down my street and I went about my daily business of ruling my react. I went to enter one of my buses and I was denied entry on the basis of disability in your state.
Yes.
But in my state, I said I'm not entirely sure if I instructed this at the time, but I'm instructing it today that the reigning King of Ireland and his sovereign dog is free to roam and rule his react barrier free.
Yes.
And the Irish Land Commission legally owns my privately owned Irish Land Commission island of Ireland and everything in it.
Yes.
So my instruction was that Bus Éireann broke the law and weakened me around the world.
He is.
So this is where there was a cut because somebody bumped the camera, and it was two gentlemen, shall we say, and they initiated a conversation with the His Majesty the King while we were in the middle of the interview. And at first I was like, oh, these fucking guys, man. And then I was so happy that they did.
He legitimately is the King of Ireland, yes. Yeah.
You want to join?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
You asked him, do you want to join?
Do you mind if I ask you real quick? So these gents have just met the King of Ireland.
We asked him, does he want to smoke a spliff?
Does he want to smoke a spliff? So that's actually a very good question.
Oh, I'll give you a spliff, man.
What would your position be on the legalization of cannabis?
My position on the legalization of cannabis
Yeah, I'm just
is
This man will want to hear this, I'm sure.
my grandmother,
He was baked off his tits.
Ban Rion Miran
We'll
Afiron,
bring
or
it down over here.
Breton Queen Mary Carey.
No,
Her subjects and my subjects suffered in relation to
like,
global.
how Irish is this situation right here? Okay, you have this fine specimen of a ginger gentleman here. You have the King's man himself with the strongest Dublin accent I've ever heard. You have the actual King of Ireland and Irish demon outside the forecourts of Dublin, which is where a lot of the battles of the 1916 Rising took place. And in the background, you have a literal truck full of Guinness. This is the most Irish scene I've ever seen. Right?
Global terrorism, where the Irish Land
Look at that.
Commission was collapsed and millions of our subjects were holocausted. Now, the state that you describe in terms of legislation has gaslit and has denied the fact that those wars ever took place. And part of recovering from trauma is therapy, talking about it, and having your suffering validated by an authority bigger than yourself. If you don't receive that, as millions of Irish people haven't, what happens is you resort to coping mechanisms like drug and alcohol abuse, and it's very normal to do that because your suffering is being denied by the state that caused that suffering. Now I'm here to tell you, because I am your king, that suffering is real, and the suffering your mother and your father and your grandparents and your great-grandparents would have told you about happened, because I saw it happen, because I was fighting for you as it happened. Now, unless this state behaves legally and says that happened, you're victims and you've disabilities that need to be addressed by my HSE, you're going to act out with drugs, gambling, sex, alcohol, and a multitude.
Seems like a good time, actually.
Who are you referring to, me or him? Are you saying, am I referencing the Celts or are you using that made up pure white Irish race? I don't know if you've ever been to Ireland or saw or have seen Irish people. We're about as pasty as you fucking get. So the idea of pure white Irish race is pretty spot on, to be honest. I'm quite dark. I'm what's considered black Irish. We come from the west coast of Ireland. We have dark hair, brown eyes, big black sexy fucking beards. Somewhat more sallow skin than people from the east coast of Ireland. And we also have ginormous penises. The reason a lot of people on the East Coast are ginger or fair-haired is because there's a bit of Viking blood in there, a lot of Norman blood, and a lot of Saxon blood in there as well. So it being an Irish thing is kind of a more modern phenomena, but certainly the gingerness is very much an Irish thing. But as for this whole thing about pure white Irish race, I don't buy into any of that bollocks. I don't give a fuck about all that stuff. And most Irish people couldn't give a fuck. Any Irish people watching right now, do any of us really care about race? Nah. Maybe in America and places like that, you guys might care about that kind of shit. We fucking simply don't. Because actually, that's another thing. You don't have to be white to be Irish. I've got plenty of friends who are as Irish as me who are from all different backgrounds and whatever. So no, we simply... Oh, that shit. Yeah. I had it out with a guy about this the other day. A guy was like, oh, you know, true fucking, you know, proper Aryan Irish, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you don't know shit. Like, as I said, us Irish from the West Coast, the Gaelic Irish, the original Gaelic Irish people, we, like me, like my blood is Gaelic Irish because I come from the Upper West. We we're dark, you know, like I mean, look at me, I'm dark. Like I've got black hair, big sexy black beard, brown eyes, and pretty sallow skin compared to what a lot of white supremacy type fucking idiots, because we don't really buy into that shit over here. We just don't give a fiddler's fuck about it, to be honest. And yeah, I had it out with a guy the other day. I was like, look at me. I was like, I'm as pure Irish as you can get. I'm Gaelic Irish. I'm not Celtic Irish. I'm Gaelic Irish. And yeah, we don't give a fuck about that kind of stuff. It's just people try to tack that onto Irishness, and we're just like, oh yeah, cool, fuck you, we'll do our own thing, thank you very much. But no, that's a good point. Like a lot of people they do the dog on it, to be honest. And that's true. Being a younger country, especially such a multicultural country, it's natural for those kind of things to happen, you know. There was somebody else, there was another comment that I saw there that I wanted to bring up. Give me one sec here now. Oh yeah, Sean from earlier in the video. Yeah, no, he wasn't white, but he was pure Dublish. Do you know what I mean? That's exactly the point. Like over here, we just don't care. We really don't. We're a small country, we're a friendly country, and Irishness, it doesn't matter to us what your background is. And I know a lot of countries, people are obsessed with their heritage and all that stuff, and that's a good thing too. But Irishness, there's a lot more to being Irish. Like I remember I posted a video years ago. There's a comedian here in Ireland called Faboudi. I think he was born in somewhere in Africa anyway. He was born in originally. But he's got a pure Dublin accent and blah, 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 blah. And he calls himself the Black Irish. And some lady from fucking Minnesota or something commented saying, oh, he's not Irish, I'm Irish. My great grandfather was from Dublin, County Roscommon or some bullshit like that. And I was like, hold on a sec. Yeah, you've got Irish blood, and that's awesome. And I love that people love their Irish heritage. It means the world to me, actually. But that doesn't make him any less Irish. Like, he grew up here. He lived here. He lives here. His whole family live here. He grew up doing exactly what I did. We're around the same age, playing hurling and doing Irish shit. He speaks Irish the same as myself. Like, and that was the point I was trying to make with this lady, and she just wasn't getting it, because she was like, oh, his skin's dark, therefore he's not Irish. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. But no, thank you for that. That's a really good point, though. I appreciate you bringing that up, actually, because it's an important thing. Paul, good night, my friend. Before you go, let me read out your comment there. It says he's gone off to bed. Oh, I lost it. Where did it go? Damn it. Sorry, but either way, Paul, good night, my friend, and we'll catch you soon. All right. Daisy says, I have Irish in me too. Well, you nearly could have either way there. Do you know what I mean? Oh, right, let me grab a few of these super chats first. And lads, it gets fucking hectic here. Shan says, who was the real King of Ireland? The last real King of Ireland. I'm guessing the British monarchy. Well, technically, King Charles III, under British law, is the king in Northern Ireland. We don't accept that. As an Irish Republican, I don't. I have no issue with the British royal family. I enjoy the history and the pageantry. I love it all. Don't get me wrong. And I have a lot of respect for the royal family and all the rest of it. But I do not and never will see them as having any sovereignty over Ireland whatsoever in any capacity. The last true Irish or Gaelic king of Ireland was Rory O'Connor, or Rory O'Concabar in Irish. And Rory, the name Rory, as in Rory Gallagher, comes from the Irish Ruairi, which literally means red king. Does Ireland have a prime minister or a president? We actually have both. So we have a president, Michael D. Higgins, looks like a character out of Harry Potter. And Leo Varadkar is our current prime minister, or as we would call it, a Taoiseach, which is literally the Irish word for leader. So yeah, he's our Taoiseach. So in Ireland, the Taoiseach, or the prime minister, and the government as we have it, is very similar to the British parliamentary system. So we have it's kind of a little bit confusing. So we have TDs, which would be the Irish equivalent of MP or a member of Parliament in Britain. TD just means Teach the Dála, which essentially just means a member of the Dáil, and the Dáil is our Parliament essentially. And the leader of that is the Taoiseach, and the Taoiseach's second in command is the Taoiseach. And so, yeah, those two kind of run the country. The president, Michael D. Higgins, he is kind of a figurehead, basically, and he just, he represents the country, but he does have some legal importance as well. And he's a very lovely fella. He's a really nice man. I met him when I was living out in Australia, and he's a really, really good fella. As for the British Crown, they have zero power whatsoever in the Republic of Ireland, and haven't had since 1921-ish, depending on who you ask. And I agree with Daisy May. I think maybe I should be the King of Ireland. Although he's a tough little dude, this guy. He's a tough man. I tell you what, he shows it here. He's not afraid to feckin' say what he thinks. But anyway, let's have a listen to this.
And a multitude. Well,
that's another form of drugs. You're going to act out with those as coping mechanisms to the pain and to the trauma that the wars that you're not even allowed to talk.
Oh, wait a minute. Shit, sorry. I forgot that I was supposed to be reading out these super chats. Teresa Brewer for £2 says, how does he earn a wage? I actually don't know. I actually have no idea. I do know he's a pilot. But aside from that, I don't know. I believe he was an educator of some description. And he's clearly very educated. He's a very knowledgeable, intelligent man. And an actual, I must say, like, truth, be told, an absolute gent. A really lovely, lovely person. Genuinely, both of these two men. Absolutely lovely. And I couldn't fault him at all. Just a pleasure to be with. He really, really, really is a lovely guy. Paul Rumor Fraser for £5 says, it's gonna rain in hell before this new genre of SovCit. Hello, Satan. Yes. Rain, is it? Looks like we're already there, my friend. Looks like we're already there. Fucking hell. Addington Stitham. What a fucking name. That's a regal name right there. Hello. Yes, it is my... Oh, hold on. Ow. What the hell went in my eyeball there? Holy shit. Oh, I got dusty balls. Eyeballs. I got dusty eyeballs. Hello, it is His Majesty Addington Stitham. You need like a double-decker last name, like Addington Stitham Windsor. Oh, yes. Oh, I like that. That sounds good. Tater Todd, I got that one already. Yeah, the straight face bit here in a minute when I give him his crown. Who wants to see me give his crown? I'm not going to play all of this, as I say, because there's a lot of fucking juicy stuff in this. Lemon tart, I love that, by the way. That's excellent. Frank Perry for $2 says no monetization today. Maybe chili can help him. Yeah, talking about monetization, holy shit, did I get a lot of problems this week. I don't know, I feel like somebody's had it out for me over the past couple of weeks. Perhaps I have a few ideas. We won't get into that, but yeah, no, I've been getting all of my videos demonetized. It's been a pain in the ass. It really has. Erica, I certainly do have memberships. You're more than welcome to join the Demon Army. Thank you so much indeed. Neon Warlock, my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for raising that, because that's something that's really important to me as well, and I really do appreciate you raising that. Things like that are very important. Yeah, no, my actual balls, my crown jewels, if you will. No dust on them, baby. But my eyeballs, yeah, they're pretty fucking sore right now. But thank you so much for that, Frank. It says maybe chili can help him. Jesus, he's doing all right on his own. I wouldn't put chili on this poor fella at all. Mr. Binklesworth sends a winky face for $2. Hello. Frank Perry for $2 says, if that's Black Irish, what happened to you then? That's actually a good point. I I would be considered Black Irish. Oh, and Frank, thank you so much for the birthday PayPal as well. I really do appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm gonna take my niece out maybe for a brunch in the morning. Might have her on in the morning for a live stream, by the way. But yeah, if you looked at my dad, you'd see like my dad is dark, like his skin's really dark. Like compared to mine, he's way darker than I am. Jakob Svenka, great to see you, my friend. Says everyone knows a true Irish are rainbow colored and covered in 4-leaf clovers. Good evening, Irish Demon. Oh, fuck, this is true. I am using a filter right now. Or maybe I'm just not real Irish. Susie Q42 for $10. Thank you so much. Says a bit late. Lost my dad in May and lost my brother on Tuesday to addiction. I'm so sorry to hear that. I really, really am. To everyone fighting addiction, you are loved. Keep fighting. Thank you so much for sharing that, Susie. I'm very, very sorry to hear, obviously, about your father. I remember you mentioning that back around that time, and your brother. I'm very, very sorry to hear that. And actually, a lot of what His Majesty the King here is talking about is around addiction, and he makes some fantastic points. The gentleman on his right, his Kingsman, he is a former addict himself and an absolute character, lovely man to talk to. And he is really trying to drill it into these two young lads. Get off the drugs and move on with your life. Make your life better, and only you can do it. And that's what he tells them. So I suppose that's a very good point. You are loved. Keep fighting. There are people out there that are backing you no matter what. And that's the God's honest truth. Got him. No, it didn't. Oh, what is that? Terminator fly? Holy shit. That's the strongest fly I've ever seen. Oh, my nippy senses are buzzing over here. Paul Rumor Fraser for £2 says, petty super chat for your nipples, cuz. Oh. I could hang my crown on my nipples right now. I really, really could. Oh my Lord. You should feel them right now. They're hard. They are hard. Let me see here now. I saw it. There was one came up there that was really funny. God damn it. Somebody said something about that is true. That is very, very true. Daddy Demon is a thoroughbred, and I am Daddy Demon. Oh, you mean my dad? Oh God. Don't put that image in my head. I'm a fucking thoroughbred. Neon Warlock, welcome to the Demon Army. Thank you so much. Lads and lassies, you know what to do in the side chat to welcome somebody new to the Demon Army. And also, Neon Warlock has become a sadistic sergeant. Thank you so much indeed. So you know what to do. You fucking know what to do. Susie Q, again, my deepest sympathies. You know, it always hurts. I'm one of those people, I suppose, I absorb people's pain a lot, and is it empathetic, I think is the word. Sometimes I'm not great with words, believe it or not. And I absorb it. I feel it with people, and but I wouldn't have it any other way. And then we have Sweet Fuck All, moving swiftly onwards. Oh, I'm starting to get a bit tired now. That's what's wrong with me. I've had a long couple.
About created. I haven't. I'm letting you know now that I haven't had a drug or a drink in 22 years.
That's very good. Fair play, man. Fair
play. It works if you work it. I live on my own. I'm here helping James, and the only one's giving me a dig out, and I'm on dialysis 3 days a week. I have a pacemaker in. Oliver Plunkett in the church and daughter wouldn't be as bad as me, and I'm here trying to sort out a war.
So we're going to legalize weed?
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to say one thing to you and do another. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill down to the reasons that you get high in the first place, and I'm going to deal with those. And I'm going to
cancer.
Well, in that instance, obviously, if it helps cancer. But do you have cancer?
Yeah.
Everybody has a form.
Everybody has a form.
Is that why you smoke weed?
And it relaxes me.
Well, I've just said what I said to you there. I'd have a different opinion.
It relaxes you if you tried it. Have you ever tried it?
Have I ever tried weed?
No. Your Majesty, His Majesty is kind of a bit cagey on this one, truth be told. He's a little bit cagey on this one, and I think His Majesty maybe has. I think maybe His Majesty has had the odd talk.
To be honest,
Wait, like I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a very honest answer to that. I crawled out of ground zero of world terrorism, and I reached out to every single coping mechanism I could think of to cope. Is that an answer for you?
But it's not a thing.
And when you're in a time of,
They're holding his feet to the flames. They're not letting him get away with it.
of war, you have to do whatever you can to survive, and you don't apologize for things you do during a wartime. And this country's just come out of a war that you can't even talk about.
Have you ever?
Yes.
Have you ever smoked cannabis? Of a pollen joints.
Have I ever smoked?
Yes. Have you ever?
Did I not just answer your question?
No, you never said yes or no.
I just said I tried, and I used every coping mechanism
Of every drug.
that I could
Every drug
that I could think of.
I was trying so hard to keep a straight face because the other guy that was with him was like on like all this shit in the background. Oh my god, man, it was so
tried
to survive the effects of terrorism because I had a state denying what they did. I had a state lying, and I had a state suppressing the truth of what both King James and his subjects went through. Of course, I reached out for every coping mechanism necessary, and thank God I did, because it got me here today, where I could tell you what happened, and where I can empathize with your trauma and your pain and suffering, and to be able to come up with a solution for that, being your king.
So you're going to legalize weed?
Well, obviously, I mean, if you've got cancer or if you've got any medical difficulty, well, that's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? But if it's
ADHD,
if
that's the big one too.
well, if it works,
PTSD and mental health.
but if you're smoking weed to cover up trauma that you need therapy for, well, you need to be going to therapy.
like he's making some fucking spot on points there. Like a lot of stuff that I would agree with. Like there are circumstances where even though cannabis can definitely help. There's no question about it. I've been there. I was on one of the trials in Australia for about a year, and it definitely did help. There's no question about it. But he makes some really good points about other sides of smoking cannabis, and sometimes it's not the right thing. Like sometimes you need to get the counseling and stuff first. But no, it's really interesting to hear his responses on that. So no, he didn't mean ground zero as in the Twin Towers. He's just using the original kind of term, ground zero of Irish something or other. I wasn't really sure what he was talking about. It's kind of hard to explain.
Pay for it?
And yes,
you're gonna pay for it
every session.
Write me a check.
I'll make sure that my Minister for Health has all of the money they need through my oil sales, that all of your disabilities are properly provided for, and that your disability allowance goes up to provide for you until you heal.
You keep fighting, Bobby, no matter what. You know, we've always got your back.
From things that were not your fault.
We're working on more houses for people.
Yeah. Well, the Irish land.
And you know, my mom will fucking flip out if you don't keep fighting, by the way. She will not be happy. See that big fucking spoon back there? Trust me, you don't want that.
Commission.
You're having people sleeping here. We could be
the Irish.
The
Irish Land Commission owns property.
Now
you're going to let me answer.
Sorry.
The Irish Land Commission. The Irish Land Commission legally owns the entire island of.
Now, I lost some of the footage here because of the issues I've been having
with my privately owned Irish Land Commission, Dublin.
But I'm just trying to think where I can bring up. Fuck, I'm hoping I have the clip of me giving him the crown, because that is quite something. Okay, I don't have the clip of me giving it to him right now, but I have the end clip of our meeting, and it is quite something. So this is him wearing the crown.
Over an addict, you can have kidney issues, you can be the King of Ireland, and you can be right.
Yeah.
just because you've disabilities doesn't mean you're automatically wrong. It's like saying, I'm sorry, I'm not listening to your opinion because you're black.
Yeah.
How inappropriate would that be?
Very.
Of course the King of Ireland has disabilities. His kingdom got destroyed by a bunch of foreign psychopaths. Of course he's got disabilities. Sorry, I can't use that
There
word.
was never,
criminals. By a
there
bunch
was
of
never,
foreign
there
criminals,
was never, ever once one normal person, and I'm 66, they've all had a problem.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
some description. You could have a gambling problem. You could have a silly little problem. Do you know what I mean? I got six addictions when I came into recovery. Today I had none. I got rid of every one.
No, we've done well. Let's not
Okay.
fuck it up.
I'm just letting you know, no, but let you know. And that fella was saying there. What was he saying? He was saying something there. You see, there is help for him. There's a 12-step program out there for him. You'll have to look for it.
Exactly.
You have to go to AA.
If you want help, you have to want it.
You have to want it.
That's it. Right, I'll leave you on. I'll get a shot of you walking.
Lovely to meet
I'll
you.
get a shot of you guys walking.
Yeah, and I'll
down
give
that
you
way,
an
sure.
farewell hug.
Absolutely. And again,
you
thank
look
you
Oh, that's my girlfrind Chloe, by the way, in case anyone was wondering, because I know a lot of you are probably wondering.
so much. My pleasure.
And
Thank you very much.
if you could get that to the amount of positive places.
Oh,
as possible
absolutely. Absolutely.
To,
most of the views that I would have would be.
So I get this fucking shot of the two boys walking down the street. I love it. I made that crown, by the way. I sure did. And there we have it. Now there is there's a whole lot more to it. There was another interaction where another guy who was completely off his fucking head, truth be told, came along and claimed that he was actually the King of Ireland. So it was quite something. It was it was a lot of fun. It really, really was. I had a great time. I'm looking forward to finishing editing all of this. And I have a few more very, very interesting ones coming up. I bet a lot of you wouldn't have known that there's Amish people. God, I got fucking dust all over me again. I bet a lot of you guys don't know that there's Amish people in Ireland, like actual, genuine, old order Amish people living here in Ireland. And I'm setting up some interviews with some of those folks. It's pretty cool. I'm super excited for what's coming for the channel. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, lads and lassies, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. As I say, this was quite an expensive endeavor, actually. This past couple of days, and YouTube's been kicking my ass, to be frank. So if anybody'd like to get one of the King's Pints with that logo on the side, that'll be there for a little while, and you'd be greatly helping the channel. If you want to consider leaving a tip in the PayPal tip jar, there's a link for that down below. Again, it goes a long way. And I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks, so that'll be a couple of pints when I'm on my holidays. We have Frank Perry for $2 says, petty. Super nipple chat. Oh, super nipple chat. I like that. It's like a fucking rocket down there, sir. Like a rocket. I'm referring to my nipple, by the way, not my unit. Mr. Binglesworth for $2 says, the Burger King has a better crown. And funny enough, when I gave him the crown, the old boy says, well, I'm going to go down to Burger King and get my crown. Oh, he was so funny, man. He was really, really funny. But again, lads and lassies, thank you so much indeed for joining me. I'm glad you enjoyed all this. It was a lot of fun. It really was a lot of fun making it. Thank you so much, Daisy. Really do appreciate that. And yeah, hopefully we'll catch you guys maybe tomorrow, kind of early afternoon my time. And hopefully I'll have my niece over here to talk about Pitt Hopkins and a few things like that. So yeah, we'll catch you then, lads and lassies. Again, thank you so much indeed. I'll use the intro as the outro, as I always do. And we'll see you next time. Sláinte.